I had a caesarean and a natural birth, and I would choose a natural birth over a caesarean any day. I'm Jackie, I'm a midwife, I'm a childbirth educator and a child and family health nurse. A long time ago, I was 33 weeks pregnant and everything was going okay in my pregnancy, and then just almost overnight, my blood pressure shot up to 180 on 110. My kidneys stopped working, I was throwing out protein, and I had so much fluid in my body, all over my body, that you couldn't actually recognise me. What had happened was I had obstetric lupus, which meant that my pregnancy was turning against me, and to help me I needed to deliver my baby, and elective caesarean was the option. I had an epidural so that I could be awake. It was really important for me to be awake, to be able to see my baby, to hear my baby when she was born. I had so much fluid, the anaesthetist couldn't feel whether he actually got the epidural into the right space in the spine or not. It didn't really work a great deal, but so desperate I was to actually see her born, I just put up with the pain that I had. And when I knew she was fine and everything was okay and she's been taken off to the NIC unit, I blacked out and they sewed me up for the rest of the 30 minutes. When I got to the ward, we couldn't take the bed down to the neonatal intensive care. I had to go in a wheelchair, so I was desperate. 4 hours after I'd given birth, I was in that wheelchair going down to the nursery so I could touch her and kiss her. I couldn't hold her because she was still too tiny, but I could touch her and kiss her. Then everything was fine. We went home 3 weeks later. My second baby, I was desperate for a vaginal birth, so I had asked for a VBAC. I was working in a private hospital at the time, and my obstetrician who I worked with was all for having a VBAC, so that was great. Nothing happened in my pregnancy. I was really quite well. I was expecting the same scenario to happen with the obstetric lupus, but it didn't. But at 40 weeks, my blood pressure went up again, and it went quite high. And so I negotiated with the obstetrician to just break my waters rather than induce me with a Syntocin and drip. So I fronted up to the hospital at 8 o'clock and he broke my waters, and I walked around and sat down, stood up, walked around, sat down, stood up. I tried for about 6 hours to try and get into labour, but nothing worked, so I had a sleep. And when I woke up from my sleep at about 2 p.m, bang, in labour. Lots of contractions, lots of really good, strong contractions. And I was so happy that I was feeling labour for the first time. This is what it's all about. This is what I wanted to happen. And I wasn't going to have an epidural, and I didn't have an epidural. I just put up with it. I did actually run the bath. I thought that I would get into the bath and use warm water immersion to help my contractions. But as it turns out, I'm not a swimmer. I don't like it when my feet are floating. I like my feet flat on the floor. And so all that filling up of the birth pool was not really necessary, because I preferred to stand and walk and sit on a birth ball in the shower. Anyway, it came time for the pushing. I could feel the urge to push, but I was so afraid that I was going to poo that I didn't push in the right way. The people who were helping me during my labour, the midwives and the doctors, I worked with them, so I didn't want to disgrace myself in front of them and do a poo. But I was pushing for 2 hours and nothing was happening. The baby wasn't coming because I wasn't pushing in the right area. In the end, I thought, damn this, I'm going to poo. And with that, she was born. Skin to skin contact, having her immediately there, being able to get out of bed and get to the shower, being able to breastfeed her, bring her into bed with me, all of those things. I remember saying to my husband at the time, oh, thank God it's all true, because I'd been teaching women that this is what happens with normal and active birth, but I didn't know it, and I know it now. And I just think that it's a really wonderful thing to happen. So I think birth is just wonderful, whichever way it comes. But if I had my choice, I would have had 2 vaginal births.